All right, everyone. So today is the day that a lot of people have been waiting. We finally have Scarlet Spider in the game. His offer is available. He also has a 675 power core orb. So if you want to actually get him without spending real money, you could actually do it with cores that way. So what we're going to do in today's video, we're going to start off by pulling some red stars, and then we're going to unlock Scarlet Spider. Now, I haven't decided at this point if I'm going to spend on the offer or if I'm going to try and test my luck and be able to get it via cores, because I think that is quite likely. So by the end of this, we will have Scarlet Spider unlocked one way or the other, and hopefully we will have quite a few good red stars, but we'll find out. So without further ado, let's get this show started. Okay, so here we are in the orbs section of the store. We're going to get started with the red star orbs. I have 100 red star orbs. Wow. But in terms of elites, I have a lot of elites as well. I have 10 Elite 4s, 1 Elite 5, and actually no Elite 6s. So we're not touching the 5s right now. I don't think. Or should we? You know what? Maybe we will. Okay, we're going to start with an Elite 5 and then work our way backwards. I'm not doing anything crazy like Seed Theory or anything like that. We're just going to go in. Regular pulling. I never really did believe in Seed Theory, to be honest. Things like that people tried to propagate. But hey, if you got some good luck with that, then all the power to you. But we're going to start things off fresh here with an Elite 5 orb, and then I have tons of Elite 4s. And surely, after some of these, that I will actually get something good. I would love a 5, though, so, you know, that would really be nice. We're going to go straight in, though, and open up this Elite 5. Fingers crossed, everyone. Fingers crossed. 5 Atom Warlock. Well, I already have that. And so that's a dupe. And that gives me about 750 more towards an Elite 6. Well, at least I have tons of Elite 4s. That's okay. Let's, you know, and maybe I'll get some upgrades. I'm okay with that as well. If I get some upgrades, you know, there's honestly very few upgrades for me these days. But you never know. I might get something really good. And we get a 5. That's better than a 4. That seems like it's good luck. Oh my god! It's an upgrade. I actually got an upgrade to Star-Lord. From 3. He is one of 4 characters on my roster that don't have 4+. Wow. So if Star-Lord does get a rework, there's apparently some rumored rework alongside Richard Rider Nova in the future. This might actually be good. So who knows? 3 to 5 is pretty good, though, I have to say. Even if it's a shitty character. 4, Shield Operative. Not very good. Moving on. Come on. Okay, alright. We got a 4. We got a 4. That's good. I really want a 5, though. I don't know. The chances of getting the 5 for him... Yeah, it's not good, is it? To get the 5 specifically out of a 4... The odds are actually not very good. 22% and then 15% of that. Probably like a 3% overall. I do kind of want more Elite 4 credit though, but... Or sorry, I kind of want more Elite 5 credit. I just don't think it's probably worth it, is it, guys? So... I think we're gonna leave things there. Yeah, it's probably not worth it, sadly. So I'm gonna leave it there. But what we are going to do is... Oh, there's my Star-Lord upgrade. Just for shits and giggles, let's click on Star-Lord and talk about that a little bit. That's not too bad. 3 to 5, you know what? He has gear tier 13. It was a pretty... Now, it's too bad Star-Lord kind of sucks, but it wasn't too bad anyways. However, we're here for Scarlet Spider. We did get that 4 red, so let's go on now to actually unlocking him so we can start talking about him. Alright, everyone, so I did end up buying the Scarlet Spider offer. This is the first character offer I had purchased since Kestrel. Now, I'm very allergic to buying the 100 shard character offers because that's a lot of money. So I was a little bit more willing to do this because it's a 45 shard character, and it was still about like 38 bucks Canadian. I don't know what the US dollar price is, like 25, something like that. Maybe. But yeah, this was a little bit more palatable to me, so we're going to do this. Also because we're not really sure, like, how many shards are we going to get out of this Scarlet Spider event? And I think that's part of the problem, is that we don't really know You know, what are we expecting with this event? How many shards will we get? We don't really know. So this is kind of why I'm doing it too, because I really want to get some good yellow stars on him, but I'm a bit concerned with how high we might actually be able to get him free to play. Without a lot of information around his event, there's a lot of things we don't know and a lot of things that are concerning to me. So that's why we're going to be doing that today. Let's see if we get lucky here on these orbs to go with the red stars that we got earlier on. So let's get things started here. We're going to be opening things up. We actually had a pretty decent seed, if you want to call it that, in some of the previous openings when I got my 5 red Star-Lord, I guess. Let's start off with starting green, though, with a 6. So that's not how I like to start my orb openings. But let's get... If we get some decent luck, and we get close to the 3-star margin, I might compensate with some other pulls. At this rate, though, it's hard to say. So that's 8. Can we get some 10 pluses? Please. Please. 8. Okay, we're like +4 at this point with 3 in. Come on, come on. Oh, no. 8 again. Okay, we're +6 now. Not great. We're halfway through. This just proves to another reason why you really shouldn't spend money in this game. And this is like really... I guess this is on the back of Christmas, because this is like the first spending I've really done in this game in quite some time. Another green pull and another 8. So now I'm kind of like net positive 1 orb, I guess, because I've had 4 8s. But we've not had anything really, really good. It's all been green. It's all been 8s. Jeez, come on. Give us a little bit more. 2 left. 2 left. Oh, it's blue. Oh, well. Hey, it's better than 6, right? 10 could have been better. Let's see. What's the final one? Save the best for last. Save the best for last. 10. Okay, so, well, we got 66. Now, we're +20 something, which is okay. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to try and maybe not the best of ideas. However, I want that 100 shards. I want to get to the 3 yellow, 3 red, so that gives us in a pretty good position going into the event that maybe, just maybe, we might be able to compensate the other 210 shards over the course of the event, and I might actually be able to get a 5 yellow by the end of it all. So I'm not sure if that's actually going to happen, but we're going to pull a couple of more orbs to try and bridge the gap here to 100 shards. So we're going to start off with my cores, and of course, it's 6 shards. So I forget how many we actually need to do that. So we need 28 more. So this might be like 4 orbs, but we'll find out. Oh, a blue and a 10. That helps a little bit. So that brings us up to now to 82. We need 18. Come on. Can I just maybe like 2 more orbs? A blue and a 10. Okay, now we're up to 92. We just need 1 more 8. I swear I'm probably going to get a 6. Now that I said it especially. But if I can get this done in 1 more orb, I would be grateful. Oh my god. I jinxed myself. Of course. Of course. Of fucking course. So now I have to pull another one because I'm sitting here at 98 shards and I need fucking 2 shards for that 3-star. Oh my god. That pisses me off. Oh my god. Okay, this has better be really... No, it's green, of course. Yeah, wow. Okay, well, there goes like 3,000 cores. But at least I got myself to that 3-star. So here we are with Scarlet Spider. Get that unlock and then get the upgrade. So in this video, we're not actually going to be doing any gameplay. There's a good reason for this, because I don't want to level him up right now. I don't want to gear him up right now, because the event that's coming for Scarlet Spider, the so-called Fresh Horizons event, is going to contain possibly the idea of having to level him up, having to gear him up, or, you know, training modules is basically it. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit more detail. I want to go over the character's kit more specifically, but I do recommend... Do check out my channel. I have some gameplay footage of the Web Warriors more broadly, and it gives you a really good example of what Scarlet Spider is going to be like, because he is a very powerful character. So without a doubt, him and Ghost Spider are the 2 characters that you're going to want to invest in the most in terms of the Web Warriors team, which are really amazing and very damage heavy. So in the rest of this video, we're going to be talking about his kit, we're going to be talking about his event, and some of the things that I recommend that you do as we lead up to that. So let's get on over to that. Alright, so let's finish off the second half of this video by talking about MSF.gg and Scarlet Spider specifically here. If you guys don't know this resource or you've never been to MSF.gg, I definitely recommend it. It's a really great resource and it's been improving more and more every patch. So what's great about Scarlet Spider is that I would label him as probably one of the top considerations for the Web Warriors team next to Ghost Spider. I think Scarlet Spider and Ghost Spider are two of the most important characters on this team as far as, you know, red stars and yellow stars and what you're focusing on for gear and all things like that. So Scarlet Spider, I want to talk about first, you know, up from the bottom down, because this is really important as far as ISO-8s go. So the reason why I would probably recommend Striker for Scarlet Spider is because of how powerful his basic attack is. So I want to read this off very quick before we talk about the Striker follow-up. So attack primary target, and actually, you know what? Because we're talking about T4s, really quickly, I'm going to drop these down to 6664. What's really great about the upgrade to MSF.gg is now it tells you actually what happens when you upgrade it to the next tier, which is super helpful for talking about T4 upgrades. So, Scarlet's Devastation. This is Scarlet Spider's basic. Attack primary target for 180% damage, plus apply defense down. Chain, I want to say that this is a rebound chain. They need to get this fixed, so whenever they come back from their holidays or whatever, this is actually a rebound chain. If you've ever played with them or seen any of my videos or seen the strike time video, for example, it's a rebound chain. This is actually really important because it can go back to the same character, not to different targets, but it also applies defense down. But if you have Spider-Man OG, which you probably should anyways, it applies offense down on and slow. So this is a basic that applies 3 debuffs on an attack. That is nuts. For example, Symbiote Spider-Man applied like defense down for 2 turns, but that was about it. And now Scarlet Spider has 3 debuffs. Dodge breaks this chain. So for this reason, this makes him a very, very good striker, because if you're not using the basic and you're using some of his other attacks, the follow-up attack is going to apply all 3 of those debuffs here as the striker follow-up. So this is really, really good. Assuming Spider-Man's on the field, which he should be if you're using him in raids, this is a really, really good attack. Now, of course, the debuffs, the offense down, the slow, only applies in raids, so if you're using this in other modes, you're not going to get that. But regardless, it's still really, really good. The other thing that you could do, and possibly if you're not running OG Spider-Man for whatever reason, or you're running outside of raids, you could consider him as a raider to improve your damage even more as we talk about his kit. So in terms of the T4 upgrade, I don't think it's a huge priority because all you're getting 40% damage to primary and secondary targets. That being said, this is a very good basic attack, and if you're going all into Scarlet Spider, you're probably going to want to max them out anyways. But as far as like priority T4s first, we're going to be talking about that. So Web Impact is his special. Attack primary target for 160, plus prolong the duration of 2 random negative effects, excluding ability block, stun, and trauma. Now, I want to make this very clear also that they started adding this in now because of Omega Red and Trauma. Now you cannot extend Trauma. However, older characters like Symbiote Spider-Man, Doc Ock, things like that can extend Trauma. So these characters, because they don't have those restrictions of what they can extend, it's these newer characters that have these new restrictions. So just keep that in mind as well. It chains to 3 adjacent targets. Now this is an actual chain. This is a proper chain, not a rebound chain. So this is accurate. And prolong the duration of other random negative effects, excluding those as well. Now, if you upgrade this to level 7, you're getting 3 random negative effects instead of 2. So I actually think that this is worth an upgrade. So believe it or not, you're going to have a lot of negative stats effects. So 2 could be a little bit random because there could be like 4 or 5 possibly. So being able to prolong 3 of them really increases the chances that you're going to get the ones that you want here. That being said, it does exclude some of these. So it's probably going to be things like offense down, slow, defense down, possibly bleeds as well if there's any on them. Actually, depends on who you're running with. I don't know if they really run. I don't know if there is bleeds. There could be disrupt from Miles, things like that. So I would really recommend getting the upgrade anyways, because that'll give you an extra random negative effect to extend. Now, Clone Crush. This is his AoE ult. This is really, really powerful. Attack the primary target for 240% damage, plus apply slow. Then you attack all enemies for 240% damage, plus clear all positive effects on any target that is slow. This is very likely to happen because Spider-Man, OG Spider-Man on his special also applies slow. There's a lot of slow application going on, so it's very likely that when the AoE hits everyone, And it's basically he's tossing a car. You know, it's very likely to clear a lot of positive effects on almost every target. Now, not always the case. And also in raids, this is confirmed 100% anyways. So if you're using them outside of... if you're using the team outside of raids, then you need to have the slow. You don't need to have the slow in raids, which is really good. Now, the upgrade for this is 60% damage on all attacks. It's only damage. That being said, he is really strong, and his damage is very high. So I would not actually put this above the special, but I would probably get this before the basic, because, you know, 60%, that's an additional 120% on the primary target, but his damage, if you've seen any of the Web Warrior videos, they're very high in damage. So this is actually going to translate to a lot of extra damage across the board when you're using raids. When you're using them in raids, sorry. And his passive, of course, passives are normally good to have, so let's take a look at this. In raids, on spawn, if this character has 4 or more Web Warrior allies, apply offense up for 2 turns, and death proof to 2 death proof, sorry, to self and all Web Warrior allies. So this means you need to have the full team. This is going to include Spider-Punk, so at this point we don't have Spider-Punk, so you only have 4, so this is not going to trigger, do keep that in mind, but when you do get the full 5-man team, that's going to happen. Now on turn, 50% chance to apply Evade to 1 random Web Warrior ally. In raids though, this is always applied to 2 random Web Warrior allies or self that do not have Evade, so this is really nice. On successful attack, this is also basically like the Symbiote Spider-Man passive for healing. On successful attack by this character or any other Web Warrior ally, heal self and all Web Warrior allies for 1% of this character's max health. In raids, this is 3%, so in any attack. Now, it's my understanding, and please, you know, feel free to correct me in the comments down below if I'm wrong on this one. I think it only triggers, like, if you're talking about rebound chains and multi-attacks, I think it only happens once, but I'm not 100% sure on this, and I would love to know officially. I should know this myself, and I apologize for this, but this is very similar to Symbiote Spider-Man's passive when he applies a negative stats effect. So I don't know if this triggers this 3% stacks, like, I don't know, if you hit 5 targets, it's going to heal you 15%. I'm not sure if that's the case, or if it's just 3% per character per turn, essentially. So like, you know, 1 attack AoE is 3%. I'm not 100% sure. I should know this, so I'm sorry about that. But either way, this is a good way to keep the team healthy, and this is really important to the overall team anyways. You also get 15% dodge chance, 15% max health, and a crit damage. This is a lot. 50% crit damage in raids. This is why this and Spider-Punk's crit chance combined is why they do so much damage, because 50% crit damage is huge. If you stack this up with some raiders, you're getting even more crit damage across the board, and their hits are just bonkers. Now, upgrading this to tier 5, this gets you 15% dodge chance for him, which is great for survivability, but also 15% max health for self and all Web Warrior allies. So I would definitely recommend the passive first, and then I would recommend the special, and then I would recommend the ultimate, because I think that 60% extra damage is really going to help, and then we're going to be getting the basic. At some point, if you're going to be taking them to Doom 2, and you're going to be taking them to Gear Tier 15, honestly, you should probably just T4 everything to be safe, because I honestly think if you are taking these characters to end game, you really do need to max them out at the end of the day, because that's going to help you everywhere. Because if you're going to take them all the way up to Gear Tier 15, or maybe even Gear Tier 16 in the future, just max out the T4s. I know that's not what people want to hear, but that's my advice anyways. Now, in terms of the gear, what's really interesting here is, of course, they require Oz formula. So Scarlet Spider, you can't see it, sorry, it's on the side here because my frame cuts it off, but Superior Oz formula is required for Scarlet Spider, just like OG, Miles, and Spider-Punk. Now, in terms of my gearing recommendation, like I said, Ghost Spider and Scarlet Spider are among the top. So I would probably gear, at least Gear Tier 14, maybe 15, Scarlet Spider first before you do the others. That being said, Gear Tier 14 is a very important milestone mark for stats. So your stats get a huge bump when you get to Gear Tier 14, so I think that I would do Ghost Spider and Scarlet Spider first, and then as far as Oz formula goes, you're probably going to want to do it into Spider-Punk, but he's not out yet, so if you have quite a bit already, you know, get that Gear Tier 14 for Miles and OG, and then try to, you know, make sure that you have a little bit left over for Spider-Punk. If you don't have enough to Gear Tier 14, Spider-Punk, and some other characters, save it for Spider-Punk, I guess, because you're going to need it for him. But otherwise, yeah, do manage your Oz formula. I know it's tough and it's hard to say that, but yeah, you're going to be farming this for a long time, just like Miasma. In terms of mini uniques, he seems to be on the cheaper side. So if you notice here, to go from Gear Tier 14 to 15, for example, he only actually needs 2 pieces here outside of his unique. These are the Gear Tier 15 pieces, and the rest of them here, these are 2 T4 T13. Sorry, T14 pieces rather, not T15. These are two T14 pieces here, and this is one T13 piece. You can see by the yellow dot or the yellow line underneath it. So he actually only needs 2 mini sets per tier of the most recent ones to get them there. So he's actually fairly cheap to build, which is great because he's such a great character. So I would definitely recommend that if you can. In terms of ISOs, like I said, Striker or Raider, that's my preference. Striker first, and then Raider, I don't know, if you are using them outside, if you have a lot of Ions, and you want to have both of them upgraded, you want to use Striker for raids, and then possibly Raider for everywhere else, because you're only going to get defense down on the Striker outside of raids. That's just my opinion. Scarlet Spider is a really great character. I do recommend you checking out some of my videos on Web Warriors if you haven't seen the gameplay more specifically there, because you'll get to see him in action more with the team, with the full team, and I do have some hybrid versions as well coming out soon. So let me know what you think about Scarlet Spider. I did okay on my polls, but I want to know more about his event, and actually I want to talk about that really quickly before we end this video. So we've been getting the training gain event has been back to back about 4 times, and I honestly think this is a mistake. I genuinely think it's a mistake that they did not mean to do it. I think because if you look in the blog post, that they were only meant to do this one time, and I do not think that this was intended to be happening 4 times. So whether or not this actually has to do with using training modules to get shards for Scarlet Spider in his Fresh Horizons event, which, by the way, if you checked out the mail, it was scheduled, or so it says, for Friday, January the 7th. Sorry, yeah, Friday, January the 7th, and I apologize that it's cutting off here. You can see my cursor. January the 7th on a Friday. That was what was said in the message. That being said, we have the Ghost Spider Blitz on Thursday, January the 6th. So is Scarlet Spider's event going to be pushed back, and was the mail wrong? I don't know, because we don't have enough information and the devs are on holidays. So whether or not that was a mistake, having 2 characters released simultaneously day after day, like 6th and 7th back to back, to me seems a bit unusual. So I don't know if the Scarlet Spider is going to be, the event Fresh Horizons is going to be pushed back by a week. I don't know. So do keep that in mind. We don't have 100% confirmation on what the event actually entails. A lot of us think it's going to be leveling up characters. So for that reason, I think that you guys should hold back from leveling up Scarlet Spider if you unlock them early. Same with possibly Ghost Spider as well. If you've unlocked any of these characters, you might want to hold back from leveling them at this time. If it involves getting more shards for Scarlet Spider, that you need to level up some of these good characters, then I think maybe you might want to wait and use that as an excuse, as a time to do it. So yeah, I don't know much more than you guys do, but if I do hear more specifically, then I will be sure to make a video on that. So I just wanted to clarify that really quickly at the end of this video here. So that's the end. And of course, until next time, stay safe and healthy. And I'll see you all later. Boilon signing out.